Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Pink Sock Reacts. Today we have two very different albums. We have St. Patty's Day 10 a.m. by the Cockroaches, and we have With the Rats and Snakes by Primitive. Which one do you want to cover first, Gorak?
Let's go with the Cockroaches because I just want to get that one out of the way.
Now, the Cockroaches, let me do a little backstory on this band. This band was formed in, I believe, 1979. They're active throughout the 80s and the early 90s. They actually was one of the busiest pub rock bands in Australia at one time, doing over 300 shows a year.
Whew. For a pub band, that's pretty good, though. Wow.
That's really good. Now, they had a couple really good hits. They had She's the One, which wasn't on this album, but they had a lot of big hits. But the band decided to call it quits. The band was actually formed by three brothers. And one of the brothers was like, well, your idea is all right, from my understanding. I don't know, I wasn't there, but he's like, the idea is cool, but I don't want to be a part of it in like a band portion. But he managed them. But they later on became the Wiggles. Now, I prefer this band over the Wiggles, of course.
What?
Well, as a kid, I would have preferred the Wiggles, but as an adult, this band, though, there are some songs that kind of sound like how they would whenever they wrote with the Wiggles. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. If you listen to, I haven't listened to the other stuff. I've only listened to this that album, but it's very you can probably tell where the Wiggles got their sound from.
Yeah, a little bit. There's some songs that sound nothing like it.
Yeah,
like their hit song. I'll send it to you sometime. She's the One doesn't sound like the Wiggles, but there's like songs like the Monkey that kind of sounds the Wiggles-ish. But there are some great songs on this album, though. Like,
yeah.
in my opinion, there are some great songs on the album. Like Love is the Sweetest Thing was a great song. I'll Die If I Don't Kiss You Tonight was a great song. St. Patrick's Day 10 a.m. was a great song. Winona Ryder was a weird tune. Raise Your Hand was pretty good. Funk kind of threw me off guard because they went with that little funk sound.
Yeah, and the song Winona Ryder.
Yeah, that one was weird.
Like, I was just like having a look at like on the internet and stuff, just some shit, and that song came up. I'm just like, this song is okay then.
It's odd and it's a very weird song on the album. Same with Funk. Those two songs don't feel like they fit on this album, but they are great songs nonetheless.
Yeah.
Lucy Don't Matter was a great song. I think this album was actually overall fantastic in my opinion for a pub rock band. I've never really gotten that far into pub rock, but they kind of sounded like a mixture at times, not the whole album, but at times they sounded like a mixture of like the Rolling Stones and the Monkees. You know what I mean? Like that 1960s hard rock sound, and then sometimes they sound like the like really early Beatles, like the pop.
Yeah. I reckon that's yeah. But
do you think if they would have stayed the Cockroaches, they would have saw the fame that they saw as the Wiggles?
No, I reckon the Wiggles was much more popular. Like, I reckon this band would have been still popular now if they were still like a thing.
Yeah.
But maybe not all of them was, you know. I'd like to see them doing like a reunion. That'd be pretty cool.
They have. They did a reunion show in 1999 and in 2014.
Yeah, right.
This band was actually founded by Paul Field, who I believe, he was the managerial director of the Wiggles. John Field who wrote a couple tracks for the Wiggles, and then Anthony Field, who's the founding member of the Wiggles. With also Jeff Fett was in the band, who was a founding member of the Wiggles as well.
Yeah.
Now this band, I love it. Like, I honestly can say that I do thoroughly enjoy the music. I was actually chilling last night listening to it, doing kind of like, whenever I listen to music, sometimes I get into a meditative state.
Yeah.
It's kind of background. And I really did enjoy this music. I know a lot of people are like, early Wiggles, what? But it's a great band in my opinion.
Yeah.
How about you, Gorak? Let's hear your opinion on the album.
Well, I reckon they're a great like wedding band for sure. Seriously, that could be a wedding band.
They could. I get where
then a pub. This is like the first time I've ever listened to them. To be honest,
Dude,
it was quite cruisy though.
It was, and there are some moments where you can hear the Rolling Stones influence because of the guitar riffs and stuff. It's very good music to cruise to, like you said. They do have other albums if you want to explore those.
Yeah, I think the St. Patrick's Day from St. Patrick's Day 10 a.m. was the last album that they released.
It was, and that's why I chose this album. Now I have not dug into any of their other albums other than their debut album.
Yeah.
Which was the Cockroaches, which has a lot of their bigger hits on. So I'd love to explore more of their music because I have a feeling that the St. Patrick's Day 10 a.m. was like them getting ready to become the Wiggles kind of album.
Maybe, yeah.
Because this came out in 94, and that was on their way out. That's pretty much their last. They did one tour, I think, for this album, and then they called it quits. And then they became the Wiggles. Because in 1991 is when the Wiggles were formed, and the Cockroaches did their last album 3 years after that.
Yeah, which is who knows? I would like to see just see them do like a one-off appearance again this year.
Yeah, I'd love to see them do like pub shows, but the thing is, I wouldn't be able to see them.
Yeah, but who knows, man?
You definitely could. Now, a fun take though, some of the songs on this album was actually recorded in the late 80s. The album came out in 94, but like Do the Monkey, it was actually originally recorded in 89.
Ah, okay then.
So like some of the music, I can't find much about this album because Wikipedia don't have a page for it. But I think some of the music was written in the late 80s and they just never released the album until 94.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. You might have to like Google search them.
Yeah, and so overall though, Gorak, I know you said they were a good wedding band. What do you rate this album?
Maybe a 6 out of 10.
See,
yeah.
Good. Sorry. You got your thumb in the way. I can't see your beautiful face. There you are.
Yeah, that's better. I was just fixing up my camera. Yeah, it's like the first time I've ever heard this band. Like, I guess if I had a house party, it's like, you know, switch it from like Avenged Sevenfold to this. Like, who the fuck's the JJ for this fucking party?
See what the Cockroaches does sound like one of them house party bands from like those movies in like the early 90s. Where they'd be like dancing like this or like from the 80s or whatever. But I give it a little bit higher of a ranking than you. You said what, 6?
Yeah, about a 6.5.
I give it a 7.5.
Yeah.
So we can just meet and say 6.5.
Out of Cockroaches.
Yeah, 7 Cockroaches. Now, what's interesting is the Wiggles actually did release a song called The Monkey Dance. which was a rewritten version.
I was gonna say they might have rewritten it.
Yeah, it was a rewritten version of a Cockroaches song. And that's kind of funny because that does sound kind of like a precursor to the Wiggles. That song sounded a lot like something they would have wrote anyways, the Wiggles.
Probably.
So let's get into a little bit of softer music now, shall we? The pub style Cockroaches. Let's do another Australian band, shall we? Both these bands are from Australia, which I found very interesting. Correct?
Yep.
Primitive. This is a band that Gorak has been pushing for me to listen to, and I've listened to them on and off, but I have not listened to a full album until last night or the night before. I forget when I listened to the album all the way through yesterday, but I listened to some of it the day before. This album is EP is brutal.
It is. It's like they made up their own genre.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. It's kind of thrash metal meets metalcore meets death metal, kind of.
Yeah, if you put Metallica and Arch Enemy together,
I was going to say Testament.
Yeah. If you listen to like the earlier stuff, it's more thrash metal-ish.
Yeah.
But like this is like a mixture of like maybe Testament, Arch Enemy, a bit of Metallica, and maybe early Megadeth.
I dig it. I can dig that. Yeah. I really loved how the first song, the intro, Curse, kind of blended into with the Rats and Snakes.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to do that with every song. That would have been cool, but I really did enjoy this album. I believe they deserve more plays than they got on Spotify. So go give them a listen, guys. I don't think there was a song I disliked on this album.
No, me either. It's such a great album. EP, sorry.
I love the two harsh vocal styles too, like the two screamers. I don't know if it's the same guy or not, but there's two different vocal styles in there. There's two different guitar styles. There's like dual guitars in a few songs, and there's all kinds of craziness. It's kind of djenty in a way.
A little bit. I think it's there was a section in the song when it is like this massive like guitar sweep.
Yes.
What
song was that?
What was it? I have a look for you. I'm pretty sure it's with the Rats and the Snakes. I think I had that sweep.
I believe so, yes. I think you're correct.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was either that song or Broken Hands.
Well, Broken Hands sounded like fucking just old school brutal Testament.
The band had a lot of Testament feel, because Testament, when it comes to thrash metal, is one of the heavier thrash metal bands.
Yeah.
This group, though, I can't really pinpoint exactly what to call
them. Yeah.
It's one of them genres that's like genre bending. Now, if you want to find them on Spotify, just look up the album, because I found a rap artist by the name of Primitive.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And that wasn't right.
No. They should sue him.
Like, they should sue him.
And yeah.
I'd love to see that lawsuit. But Primitive, I'd love to have on this show to discuss this album.
Yeah.
Because they seem like great groups of people. But this album came out a year ago?
Yeah, about a year ago.
So happy anniversary.
But you should listen to this single For the Week.
For the Week?
Yeah, it's from it's like another single that came out like 2-3 years ago or something.
Oh, I'll check it out.
And it sounds like fucking like old school Megadeth Metallica.
Damn.
And then
killer.
The last minute and a half is just the outro.
I'll check it out. They don't have any full length albums though yet, do they?
They've done
Because on Spotify they only had Primitive, which was their 2017 EP, For the Week, which is the single,
and
another
then,
With the Rats and Snakes single, and then the other EP.
Yeah.
They're doing right now.
Yeah. So they only done 2 EPs and 2 singles, both. Yeah.
But I would love to hear more from this band. They are incredible.
Too.
I love what I've heard, and I would like to thank you, Gorak, for introducing me to this band because
I knew you would like them.
God damn, I loved them.
Yeah.
Now this album I will rank higher than the Cockroaches, obviously,
and softer as well.
Before we dive into that, though, what is your favorite song off the Cockroaches album? If you can name 2, and your favorite song off of the Primitive album. Try to stick to 2.
Yeah, no. This one's hard.
I know. Cockroaches was such a great album.
Do the Monkey.
I think that's how you do the Monkey, right?
And Winona Ryder. Because I thought that was just fucking weird, but fun. Catchy song.
I love those 2 songs. I will say, for me, Love Is the Sweetest Thing and Funk was my 2 favorite albums off that. 2 favorite songs of that album, not my 2 favorite albums off that song. I can't even talk. With the Rats and Snakes, what was your 2 favorite songs?
Fuck. The Rats and Snakes is 1.
Mm-hmm.
And probably go with Rivers. It's a great closing track.
Amazing closing track, Greg. I totally agree. But my 2 favorite songs, I will state, is With the Rats and Snakes and Broken Hands. Those are my 2 favorite. The Last Nail is really good too.
Even the intro was pretty cool. Like just to open up the EP.
I'll go with the Rats and Snakes and The Last Nail for my 2 favorite songs of the album. Now I will rank this one an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I go 8. 8 thrash metal guitarists out of 10.
8 rats out of snakes.
Yeah.
8 rats out of 10 snakes.
Yeah.
So, Gorak, what did you want to do next time we do reacts? Because I know
Billy Ballow's next solo album.
We can do that. When did you want to record that?
We could do it live.
We could. I was trying to get away from the live thing because it's early morning for you.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, we could do it live. We could do it live next week. Billy Vallow.
Okay, Billy Vallow's album. Is there any other albums that you would like to do? We can do 2 a week if you want.
No, we just stick it. We stick to 1.
Billy Vallow's new album, Wednesday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We're still going to do Pink Sock on Mondays at noon. It's just pre-recorded. I do have an idea for the Wednesday after next. That sounds like a fucking horror movie. Wednesday after next. This is an album that you probably would not expect me to want to review, Greg.
Yep, go for it.
Extreme's latest album.
I've heard good things about it.
I was listening to it briefly last night, and I'm like, I need to listen to more Extreme.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I don't listen to a whole lot of Extreme because the only songs that I really knew by Extreme was More Than Words and Wholehearted. And I also
know, really? I like Get the Funk Out. That's a
I was ready to say that too. I also know the song Get the Funk Out, but that's the 3 songs I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I've listened to bits of the songs that they posted up, and it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, after listening to some of that album, bro, it's called 6, by the way. It came out this year. After hearing some of that album, I need to listen to more Extreme. They are very talented, and I knew they were talented people because one of the members was in Van Halen, for God's sakes.
Oh, Gary Sharon. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Nuno Betancourt played with Rihanna
yeah.
for a live
Nuno,
show.
Nuno's a great guitarist. I know both of them from other projects.
Yeah. But
I think
fun facts about Nuno: he was married to an Australian.
really.
Yeah, a chick. I can't remember her name, but she is the vocalist for a band called the Baby Animals. They're like Australian grunge rock.
I'll check them out.
They're really good, like '90s like rock music.
See, I definitely have to listen to more fucking extreme, I guess, because they are incredible. And that's kind of why I enjoy listening to music other than the hits. Because,
Yeah,
especially with like Alice Cooper, for instance, let's get into Alice a little bit.
the hits are getting boring now.
He has great hits, but the B sides or the songs that people don't really listen to that much, they hit a lot harder.
Yeah, I know. It's I don't know. I get tired of like the hits now. Like if I'm going to a gig, I would like to hear the hits, but like I like to hear the unknown stuff. You know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
like even the unknown stuff sometimes, Alice, like the fans, of course, know what they are. Um,
Yeah,
like Roses
but
on White Lace, for instance, that was a hit, yes, in the '80s, but it wasn't one of his hit songs. If that makes any sense,
no, but like it's a classic banger.
it's a classic fucking banger.
But yeah, like if I always wanted to go and see Metallica, but then like and I've been listening to Metallica since I was 14, 15 years old.
Mhm.
But I would go for the experience. I couldn't give a fuck about the hits or anything like that. You know what I mean?
I saw him in concert. We had like a tornado or whatever, or no, it was a storm. We had a tornado the first day of the festival. But anyway,
How funny if Megadeth was playing, they played Tornado of Souls when that happened.
that would be fucking hilarious.
Mighty Friedman joined them on stage again.
Metallica?
No, for Megadeth.
We were talking about Metallica, dude. And you said Tornado of Souls. I'm like, what the hell are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I know, but then when you was I said that how funny if Megadeth opened up.
Oh, okay. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
But
Megadeth was, I think they might have been there that year.
yeah.
But when I saw Metallica, they played, had to have been 2 hours.
Yeah, of course. They always play up to like 2 to 2.5 hours.
The set list was great too. They opened with Hardwired to Self Destruct. They did At Last Rise. They did For Whom the Bell Tolls, Creeping Death, The Unforgiven, Now That We're Dead, Moth into Flame, Harvester of Sorrow, Welcome Home Sanitarium, followed by Kirk and Rob's solos for including I Disappear and Anesthesia Pulling Teeth.
Yeah.
They did Whiplash, Sad But True, One, Master of Puppets, Fade to Black, which proceeded with Through the Never movie clip previews and shit. Seek and Destroy, and then they closed with Blackened, Nothing Else Matters, and Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
And it was a great,
Solid.
it was a solid fucking. But the thing with Metallica is though they're one of those bands where they can play anything they want, and it
Yeah.
sound people would be happy.
Yeah.
People
But
would be fucking ecstatic.
but but now I've seen footage now they're playing like stuff off the new album, which is pretty cool in a way as well. Because sometimes when bands do these things, they only play like what, maybe the singles off the new album and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, these guys play almost maybe like some of their songs off the new album.
Well, they're at that point of their career where they don't really need to follow anybody's rules. Because if I'm
Well,
not,
they own rights to their music now.
yeah, they own their music now. I've not heard their latest album
It's
from
pretty
beginning.
good. It's I've only listened to it a handful of times. I liked it better than Hardwire, but
See, I
this one was pretty good. It's like Motorhead meets um just hit you in the face metal.
So
It's
it's
really
not
good.
really Metallica. It's just like it's more of a hard rock album than a thrash.
No, it's a bit of both.
Okay.
When I've heard Lux and Turner, it sounded like Motorhead.
See, that's the one song I did hear off the album. That and 72 Seasons, because those two were like advertised.
Yeah.
But I completely forgot Metallica even had a new album until you said something. Well, these albums aren't really advertised anymore. Like people are like, "Hey, have you heard the new Metallica album?" Oh shit, they have a new album.
Yeah, but I guess they don't need to because like they got a large fan base. So
Yeah, that plus like we don't have advertising much anymore unless you're on YouTube and shit because nobody listens to the radio anymore. You just go on Spotify and they're, "Oh shit, there's a new album out."
yeah, people are just doing it all over social media instead now,
Yeah, like
Instagram and shit. But even Metallica, I didn't even know that Metallica were doing a new album until I heard the single when it came out.
me
They
either.
kept it quiet.
Is there anyone else that has a new album coming out? I heard Mudvayne's working on something.
Yeah. 69 Eyes released a cover a Rammstein cover.
That's cool.
Is it Fire? Whatever it's called.
I been listening to a lot of different music like EDM and all that shit. And I've been getting into Aesthetic Perfection.
They're good, eh?
They're so fucking good.
Yeah. It's like electronic, industrial,
It is.
metal-ish.
It kind of sounds like I don't know how to explain it because it's not really Combi Christ.
No, but it's very electronic. I don't know, dance
Yes,
a
and they
bit.
and they also have random songs thrown in the mix, like "Summertime Goth," I think was the name of it.
Oh, yeah. Did you listen to that song?
Yeah, Summer
How
Goth.
how good's the changeover?
Fucking
The
awesome.
summer gone.
That shit is so good.
I want to watch
Um,
the video clip now.
but Gorak, we are going to be doing. How do you pronounce his name?
Billy Valor.
Billy Vallow. Billy Vallow of Hymn's latest album, which I find
And they're
it.
coming to Australia in March next year, so I might get my tickets for that.
Dude, go see him.
I've seen him twice, or HIM or him. It's kind of weird name to call a band that, huh?
It is. It's very odd. Also, doesn't Billy still use the Hymn logo even though Hymn ain't around anymore? He uses it for his solo stuff?
Yeah,
Or is it,
because it's his logo.
or is it a different logo than him?
It's the same, but like kind of like a little bit of a different design.
Mhm.
But
So,
it's a good album. Listen to it.
isn't him just him? See,
H-
I'm not that familiar with the band. Like I listen to their music, but I'm not familiar with bandmates. Isn't Billy the only member of him that's
well, him or HIM split up like a couple of years ago,
okay? I didn't
and
realize that.
then
There's
and then
two original members.
yeah, and then Billy Vallow um done his solo album a couple years later.
That's neat as fuck.
Which is pretty cool. He's a great songwriter, great singer, and the dude hasn't aged a bit.
Not at all. And he's also like he was friends with Bam Margera
Yeah.
of Jackass, but I guess they are not friends anymore.
Bam's a mess.
I just hope he gets sober. That's all I hope. All we can do is hope the best, dude. But anyway, we're veering off of the subject of Primitive and Cockroaches. Let's hope the Cockroaches do get back together one day and tour with Primitive.
Oh. Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, Clash of the Australian bands.
Yeah.
But girl, I love you, bro. I'm gonna get off of here. We ranked those albums, I think, the best we can. It's our opinion. Don't hate us. And Primitive, if you're listening, Cockroaches, if you're listening, come on the podcast. Come on, get the microphone out. Don't be afraid. We don't bite hard, do we, Gorak?
Not really, just nibbles.
Just little nibbles. Just we gum you a little bit. But love you all. Please stay safe. Wear a condom at all times, unless you want kids or diseases. Love you all, and as always, live long, rock hard.
Stay hard, be nice, and don't be